What is up, YouTube? My name is TICKLEMUHBEANZ, but you can call me Beanz for short. Now, you may or may not have heard of me. I have several failed attempts of trying to be an online entertainer. That's YouTube streaming, Twitch streaming, Mixer streaming, music, pornography. Now, I am leaning more towards the "you've never heard of me" choice because, let's face it, I basically just said I'm a nobody. But let's change that today. Before we dive headfirst into today's content, I want to let you know right now, if you are not willing to click the like button, the subscribe button, and share this video with every single person that you are currently in contact with on every social media platform, that includes friends and family, one at a time, individually, then what are you doing on my channel? Why are you watching this video? If you didn't get the memo, let me go ahead and fill you in really quick. Labeling yourself as a content creator entitles you. This is a work from home opportunity, a full-time job, a get-rich-quick scheme, if you will. What did you think YouTube was? A way for you to express your ideas, concerns, and opinions with like-minded individuals across the world? What? People these days, man, let me tell you what, so selfish, you know what I mean? It's ridiculous. I'm kidding. Click the dislike button if you want. I don't care. I'm just trying to make a relevant point that transitions moderately well into the topic of the video. It's my first video. I thought it would be funny, but nobody really gets my jokes. Probably why I fail. I suck at this, man. I suck at this, man. Anyways, for those of you who are watching on a monetization supported device, let's talk about console peripherals. And yes, I am looking at and speaking directly to the whiny little babies who are complaining about mouse and keyboard support on consoles. Mouse and keyboard support has already been confirmed for consoles, but at the risk of splitting up the community and the playlists. So if you're using a mouse and keyboard, you can choose to play with those who are also using a mouse and keyboard, and the same can be said for those of you using controllers. There's also basically an I don't care option, and that will match you up against people who are using mouse and keyboard and controller. I don't really know how well that's going to work out and if everybody is going to follow that guideline, but this is really good for those of you who are in the corner, scared, being like, oh, there's a choice? Good, because I don't really want to go up against the mouse and keyboard player. I hate to tell you this, but mouse and keyboard players are already among you on console. You can get an adapter right now. The most popular one is the Zim 4. Yeah, it's $150, but you'd be surprised at how many people are already using mouse and keyboard on console. One of my favorite complaints right now to hear when I'm playing a game online is whenever somebody gets turned on, like, really bad, and they put a whole bunch of shots into somebody, get a bunch of hit markers, the person turns around and they die. Their complaint is, what the hell? Definitely using mouse and keyboard, what a pussy. No, that could just be a really high sensitivity on a controller, but there's no way for you to really tell. It could also be that you're bad or they're hacking, so you better report them.
He probably effing vapes too.
With that being said, this now brings me to what I've been anxious to talk about, and that is the comparison of console peripherals and the oh so famous term, oh, he uses what? That's cheating. That's cheating. Back before you could even use a mouse and keyboard on console, so no Zim adapter, none of that, and a player got turned on and lost the engagement, you didn't hear the mouse and keyboard excuse. Why? Because you simply couldn't use the excuse at that point. I can tell you what excuses you did hear, and that's, he's cheating. That's cheating. He's hacking. Nice aimbot, kid. It's a fact that most people who lose are going to use an excuse. The same can be said about winners too, except it's shit talking. It's just basic human nature to use an excuse when you lose. What's it called whenever you're in a 1v1 battle with somebody and you lose? What's it called? Oh, yeah, it's called getting outplayed. We just don't want to admit to ourselves that there are other better players. This is a standard Xbox One controller, complete with buttons, triggers, bumpers, and sticks. With this controller, you can take out an entire enemy team by yourself without any issue, if you're good at the game you're playing. If you dedicate enough time to a single game, you understand the maps, the callouts, the strategies used to complete objectives, perfect sensitivity, things like that, you're going to be really good at a game. And when you become really good at a game, this controller right here it's all you're going to need. If somehow you didn't get a controller with your Xbox console, then you can pick one of these up right now for like 30-40 bucks. Now this is your not so standard Xbox One controller. This is the Xbox One Elite controller, and you can pick up one of these bad boys for $150 US. Odd, that's the same price as the Zim 4 adapter. Some of the noticeable features of this controller is the ability to change out the analog sticks. You can change out the D-pad. And the most important thing about this controller is the paddles on the back. Now, these paddles can be taken out up to a total of 4 paddles into the back of the controller. Now, as an example, come on, you can bind any button on this controller to these paddles. So, for example, if you were playing an elimination-based game and you use the X button to revive a player, when you're using this controller, you have to use the X button, which takes away your ability to use the right analog stick. So, you can bind the X button to any one of these paddles back here, and you still have the ability to use this right analog stick, so you can still aim while you're reviving. Sure sounds like a competitive edge or a competitive advantage to me. Does it sound like that to you? It should, because it is. So after that comparison, which of these two controllers are you more likely to not get but want? You're probably going to want this one, right? Because you have more of an advantage with this controller. This is a mouse and keyboard. This mouse and keyboard can be used with the Xbox console or the PlayStation console right now if you get the Zim 4 adapter for $150 US, which happens to be the exact same price as the Xbox One Elite controller. Most competitive players on the Xbox console are going to buy this controller or one of the scuff controllers because it gives them a competitive advantage by using these paddles on the back of the controller. And yet, even though they're not going to use the standard Xbox controller because there's no paddles on the back of the controller, they're gonna bitch and moan about every person who uses a mouse and keyboard on the console, even though that is simply another way for players to have a competitive edge against other players who use a controller like this. These are the Turtle Beach XO1s. The reason why you would get this headset in particular is because it gives you better sound quality and you can hear things around you like footsteps. This isn't one of the best headsets you could buy, but they're definitely affordable and they do the trick. Now, if you're getting like the $250 Turtle Beach headset, or you're getting the Astro headset for $250 or a little less, a little more, whatever, are you going to get that headset because you think it looks cool? No, you're not going to get it because you think it looks cool or it's a little comfortable. You're going to get it because it has amazing sound quality, 7.1 surround sound, 5.1 surround sound, whatever it is, you're getting it for the sound. I'm going to use something I already used like twice now for a competitive edge. Are you seeing the theme here? This makes no difference. This mouse and this keyboard makes no difference to somebody who's using an Xbox Elite controller or a Turtle Beach headset. It's quit crying that they're bringing mouse and keyboard support to the console. It has nothing to do with the fact that it's a mouse and keyboard. There's really no precision difference. It's the fact that it's a mouse and keyboard and you think it needs to be kept on the PC. To wrap up, this all reverts back to one simple point. It's not about what you're using to play the game. It's about how you play the game. If you're good at the game, you can use this controller. If you're bad at the game, this might make you a little bit better, but you're probably still gonna suck. You have to learn the game to get good at it. You have to play the game to get good at it. So quit crying about the mouse and keyboard. It didn't do anything to you. It's just a mouse and keyboard. Plenty of people who are using a controller, whether that's the standard one or the elite one, are going to get owned by somebody who's using a mouse and keyboard. And the reason why that is because they're good at the game. The same thing can be said about somebody using a mouse and keyboard is going to get completely stomped by somebody using a controller because they're good at the game. Now this of course is just my opinion and my opinion alone, and I'm sure there's plenty of people out there who share the same opinion. They may not be as passionate and they may be more passionate. And there's other people out there who completely disagree with me and will be pissed off when they watch this video, and that's fine. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion. I think you're wrong. But what do you guys think? How do you feel about the mouse and keyboard being supported by consoles? Let me know in the comments section below. Just be honest. Let me know how you feel. If you like it, if you dislike it, talk to me. Oh, and before I forget, in other news, Trump lifted the ban on importing elephant parts into the US. So for all of you ivory enthusiasts out there, drop your drawers and start jerking it because it's your lucky week. And of course, thank you all for watching. Until next time, have a wonderful morning, afternoon, or evening.